The Three-Body Problem by renowned science fiction author Liu Cixin is a groundbreaking novel that won the prestigious 2015 Hugo Award for Best Novel and the 2020 Seiun Award for Best Foreign Long Work. Known for its epic scope and profound intellectual depth, it is the first installment in Liu's Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy. The novel tells the story of humanity's first contact and ensuing conflict with an alien species known as the Trisolaran civilization. Through the lens of science, philosophy, and the fate of civilizations, the novel explores the complexities of human existence. Today, I will take 10 minutes to tell you the story of the first book in the Three-Body trilogy.
In the vast expanse of the cosmos, a lone signal pierced the veil of silence. It originated from Earth, a young planet teeming with life. The signal carried a message, a plea for contact from a disillusioned astrophysicist named Wenjie. Wenjie, scarred by the events of the Cultural Revolution, had lost faith in humanity. She yearned for a force, something beyond the stars, to change the course of human history. Years passed. The signal, traveling at the speed of light, traversed unimaginable distances. It journeyed through the void, passing countless stars and galaxies. It was a faint echo, a whisper lost in the cosmic symphony. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. On a distant planet, orbiting a red dwarf star, the signal was detected. The Trisolarans, a civilization grappling with its own mortality, listened intently. The message from Earth, filled with both hope and despair, resonated deeply within their collective consciousness. For the Trisolarans facing an existential crisis on their dying world, Wenjie's call was not just a signal, it was a lifeline. The Trisolaran civilization had endured for millennia. Their home, Trisolaris, was a harsh and unforgiving world, locked in a chaotic three-body system. The unpredictable gravitational forces subjected the planet to cycles of extreme heat and cold. Survival on Trisolaris was a constant struggle. The Trisolarans developed extraordinary abilities to withstand these brutal conditions. They could dehydrate their bodies and enter suspended animation, but even their resilience had limits. Trisolaris was dying. A faint signal from Earth ignited a flicker of hope in their desperate hearts. From their distant vantage point, Earth appeared as a shimmering jewel, a haven of life and stability. The Trisolarans studied the signal, deciphering its meaning and analyzing the data it contained. They learned of Earth's vibrant biosphere, its abundant resources, and its temperate climate. It was everything their world was not. The Trisolarans saw Earth as a chance for salvation, an opportunity to escape their dying planet and rebuild their civilization. They possessed advanced technology, far surpassing that of humanity. Their knowledge of physics, honed by centuries of studying their chaotic star system, dwarfed human understanding. They were confident in their ability to conquer this new world, to claim it as their own. Yet, despite the allure of Earth, not all Trisolarans were united in their desire for conquest. The decision to invade another world, even one as seemingly primitive as Earth, carried immense moral weight. It was a decision that would irrevocably alter the fate of two civilizations, setting them on a collision course with unforeseen consequences. The discovery of Earth sparked a fierce debate within Trisolaran society. One faction, driven by desperation and a pragmatic desire for survival, advocated for immediate invasion. They argued that Earth, with its resources and habitable environment, was their only hope. They were willing to do whatever it took to secure their future, even if it meant the subjugation or annihilation of another species. However, another faction emerged, one troubled by the ethical implications of invasion. They questioned the morality of conquering another world, of usurping the right of another species to exist. They argued for a more peaceful approach, one that might allow for coexistence or even cooperation with humanity. The debate raged, dividing the Trisolaran people. It was a clash of ideologies, a struggle between survival at all costs and the preservation of their moral compass. The fate of Earth and humanity hung in the balance as the Trisolarans grappled with the weight of their decision. Section 5. Wenjie's Burden, a Silent Witness. Wenjie had become a pivotal figure in this cosmic drama. She was the one who had sent the signal, unwittingly opening the door to their world. She had hoped for a benevolent force to steer humanity towards a better future. Instead, she attracted a desperate civilization, one that might bring destruction. Wenjie continued her work at Red Coast Base, a top-secret Chinese military installation. She had received a chilling response, confirming she was not alone. Burdened by her actions, Wenjie was tormented by doubt. Had she doomed humanity, or offered a slim chance for a new beginning? The answer lay beyond the stars, in the hands of a civilization she could barely comprehend. And she, the harbinger of this uncertain future, could only wait, watch, and pray. Section 6. The invisible invaders, Sophons arrive. The decision was made. The faction advocating for invasion prevailed, driven by the ever-present threat of their dying sun. Preparations for the long journey to Earth began, a journey that would take centuries. But the Trisolarans were not content to wait idly. They had a plan, a way to study and weaken humanity before their arrival. They dispatched Sophons, highly advanced particles capable of traveling at near light speed. These Sophons infiltrated Earth undetected, their minuscule size rendering them invisible to human technology. They spread across the globe like invisible spies, observing, recording, and subtly manipulating events. The Sophons had a two-pronged mission. First, they were to gather information about human civilization, its strengths, its weaknesses, its technological capabilities. Second, they were to subtly sabotage human scientific progress, creating roadblocks and dead ends in key areas of research. The Trisolarans knew that knowledge was power, and they were determined to keep humanity in the dark, to ensure their advantage when the invasion fleet finally arrived. Section 7. The Age of Scientific Stagnation. The impact of the Sophons was subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but gradually, a sense of unease began to creep into the world's scientific community. Anomalies appeared in particle accelerator experiments. The fundamental laws of physics seemed to be subtly altered, and breakthroughs in key fields like fusion power remained elusive. Researchers were baffled. Theories were proposed and discarded, but no satisfactory explanation could be found. Frustration mounted as years of research yielded nothing but dead ends. The once vibrant world of scientific discovery seemed to have hit an impenetrable wall. Unbeknownst to them, the Sophons were at work, manipulating data, creating false positives, and ensuring that humanity remained blind to the true nature of the universe and the threat they faced. The Trisolaran plan was working. Humanity, its scientific progress deliberately hampered, remained blissfully unaware of the impending invasion. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of two civilizations, a confrontation for which humanity was woefully unprepared. Despite the Sophons' influence, rumors of the impending invasion began to surface. It started with whispers in the shadows, cryptic messages appearing online, and strange symbols appearing around the globe. Most dismissed these as the work of cranks and conspiracy theorists. But a select few, individuals with a keen eye for the unusual and a distrust of official narratives, began to connect the dots. They noticed the stagnation in scientific research, the unexplained anomalies, and the increasing sense of paranoia among those in power. They saw the official denials and cover-ups for what they were, desperate attempts to maintain order in the face of an unknown and terrifying threat. These individuals, scattered across the globe, united by their shared suspicions, became the first line of defense against the Trisolaran threat. They called themselves the Earth Trisolaran Organization, ETO, a clandestine group dedicated to exposing the truth and preparing humanity for the coming invasion. As evidence of the Trisolaran threat mounted, humanity's response was a mixture of fear, denial, and fragile hope. Governments around the world scrambled to assess the situation, caught off guard and ill-prepared for a threat of this magnitude. The public, bombarded with conflicting information and official reassurances that rang hollow, reacted with a mixture of panic and disbelief. Some retreated into denial, clinging to the belief that it was all a hoax, an elaborate fabrication designed to sow chaos. Others embraced fatalism, convinced that resistance was futile and that humanity's fate was sealed. But there were also those who refused to give up hope, who believed that humanity, despite its flaws, could find a way to overcome this challenge. The world watched and waited, holding its breath as the shadow of Trisolaran loomed ever larger. The countdown had begun, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Wenjie, the woman who had sent the fateful signal, now found herself at the center of this global crisis. She had lived with the burden of her secret for decades. Now, as the world teetered on the brink, she was forced to confront the full weight of her decision. A part of her regretted contacting the Trisolarans. She had hoped to find a solution to humanity's problems. But another part of her still clung to a sliver of justification. Perhaps, she thought, this was the only way. The arrival of the Trisolaran Sophons marked a turning point in human history. It shattered the illusion of humanity's isolation in the cosmos and revealed the existence of a hostile alien civilization with its sights set on Earth. It ushered in an era of uncertainty and fear, but also an era of unprecedented opportunity. Faced with an existential threat, humanity was forced to confront its own limitations and its capacity for both great good and great evil. The lines between nations blurred as the world united against a common enemy. The old order crumbled, replaced by a new world defined by the Trisolaran threat. It was a world on the brink, teetering between annihilation and the potential for a new, more united, and technologically advanced future. The Trisolarans were coming, but humanity would be ready. The battle for Earth and for the future of two civilizations had begun.